Powered by the Montana Television Network. This is the 5:30 News on Q2, Montana's news leader.
Today, we remember those who have served and sacrificed for our freedoms. Some gathered, others chose to honor our veterans from afar in the midst of the current pandemic. Those ceremonies playing out today across our communities, state and country. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Jeanelle Slade. American flags displayed from our homes. That is one constant that remains today. But as people take precautions, this Memorial Day takes on a different feel. Q2's Russ Riesinger is standing by in the newsroom tonight to show us. Russ.
Well, it was a beautiful yet somber day as people paused to remember those who gave their lives defending our country. And while the meaning of the day has not changed, the way we marked it certainly has in light of the coronavirus restrictions. It's often said that freedom isn't free. You need only look at the gravestones here at Yellowstone National Cemetery to see the cost for yourself. Unlike past years, there was no Memorial Day service for the public to attend, but that didn't stop many people from showing up to pay their respects.
Due to COVID-19 and to keep everyone safe, the Friends of the National Cemetery have put together this virtual Memorial Day service to honor those veterans who have passed.
Instead of traditional ceremonies, services were recorded ahead of time and played online.
On this Memorial Day, we pray for those who courageously laid down their lives for the cause of freedom.
In just the last century, over 650,000 servicemen and women have given their lives in defense of our freedom and our way of life. Today is about remembering those men and women who never had a chance to become veterans.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America.
In virtual services recorded at Mountain View Cemetery in Billings, Mayor Bill Cole compared the coronavirus crisis to a war.
And so in a very real sense, we are at war with this disease, a war that requires courage, patience, service to one another, perseverance. And there's no group of Americans who understand courage and perseverance and service to one another better than our veterans.
And while the coronavirus may have changed the way America marked this Memorial Day, it did not change the meaning of it, as we recognize the debt we owe to those who gave all. And you can still watch the services online on the Friends of the Yellowstone National Cemetery Facebook page. They've also done something else that is kind of a neat way that you can pay tribute. Every veteran interred there has a memorial page, and you can find that on ulm.va.gov. Jeanelle?
All right, thanks so much, Russ. Well, in other news today, the Memorial Day weekend also marks what could be the best time in years for consumers to purchase a new vehicle. On a nationwide scale, dealerships are sitting on inventory and are cutting deals to move cars off lots. At Lithia Chrysler Jeep Dodge of Billings, staff say the dealership isn't overstocked because people have still been making trades and purchasing new vehicles during the pandemic. But sales staff say they have been able to offer 0% interest loans on new vehicles to folks with good credit. The interest rate drop at the Federal Reserve is what motivated the low rates on car loans.
It's probably been 4 or 5 years since rates have been as low as they are right now, conventionally without, in lieu of rebates, taking the 0% option. But it's nice to be able to offer, all Spectrum customers, whether just starting out in the credit world or been on there forever, an opportunity to get the best rate possible.
Now, Fisher added that it's relatively rare for domestic car dealerships to be able to offer the low interest rate loans. Normally, people would pay anywhere between 5 to 7% interest on an auto loan. Well, the coronavirus pandemic is taking a toll on several Montana businesses, including a ranch in Gallatin County, one that's dedicated to helping female veterans and abused or neglected horses. MTN's Cody Boyer takes us there.
Serenity Ranch's mission has been the same for years. Help women veterans, other women who have faced abuse of their own, and help these horses. But thanks to COVID-19, they may be shutting their gates for good.
Our program has the ability to really help so many more people.
That's the thought on Lisa Ladeau's mind, working alongside the 41 horses at Serenity Ranch. But the pandemic has found another nonprofit to not be kind to.
Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, we've seen a drop-off on funding and donations.
Which means the worst. Serenity Ranch's days might be numbered.
Ultimately, we're just trying to make ends meet here. We've lost our income stream coming in. We already have our property on the market, and we're looking at downsizing smaller options.
Ladeau and her mother Suzanne Carter have held the reins of the nonprofit since 2017. The ranch itself even longer, 15 years. The sanctuary is not only for abused and neglected horses, but women, both veterans and beyond.
As they've come down our driveway, they just feel a sense of peace and serenity, and we strive for that.
COVID-19 makes this year too for Serenity Ranch to go without summer programming. We were there at the start when record snow flattened the ranch's show arena. They could never rebuild.
Because of that loss, we didn't really do any female veteran programs last summer, and then due to COVID, we're in the same boat this year.
But the horses aren't going anywhere, something Ladeau wants to make clear.
We are keeping all our horses. We are afloat enough that our horses will remain fed.
Ladeau says the ranch normally saw around $10,000 in donations annually before, but now help to women who served our country may look elsewhere. A reality Ladeau hopes to continue, ranch or not.
This isn't going to stop. We're going to make sure that we help as many people as we possibly can.
In Belgrade, Cody Boyer, MTN News.
Thanks, Cody. And Ladeau says many of the veterans they've helped were from across the country, another concern for possible virus spread. And now turning to Chief Forecaster Bob McGuire. Bob, today was gorgeous outside after it was a nasty weekend.
Yeah, well, we needed the rain and we got it. And of course, you know, they always say that the first weekend of summer is Memorial Day and then the last one is Labor Day. So let me show you what the last weekend of spring did to places like up in the mountains. Look at this. Over at 5 miles west of Red Lodge, they had 13 inches of snow. Near Wilsall, 18 inches of snow. Luther had 4. 6 miles northeast of Livingston had 4 inches of snow. And over there by 3 miles northeast of Red Lodge had 3.5 inches of snow. But take a look at the rain. 3 miles north of Fishdale, almost 2 inches of rainfall. 155 over Ekalaka, by Absaroka 154, 152 over Bridger, and by Columbus they had 1.35 inches here in Billings. We had 7,800ths of an inch of rain, but look what's coming our way. We are looking at some warmer temperatures. Eventually we'll stay into the 70s right on through Thursday, but then by Friday, bam, up to 82 degrees, and over next weekend, yeah, it'll feel like summer. Try 91 on Saturday, 95 on Sunday. That's going to be a pretty hot weekend. We'll have more in your forecast in a few more minutes.
All right, thanks so much, Bob. Well, 2 big court rulings affecting how absentee ballots are cast and counted here in Montana came down late Friday. And now the issues are headed to the Montana Supreme Court. The ruling by a state judge in Billings less than 2 weeks before primary election day blocks 2 Montana laws that he said are illegally suppressing votes. MTN chief political reporter Mike Dennison explains.
The ruling came in a lawsuit filed by the Montana Democratic Party and another Democratic group challenging 2 Montana laws. The Ballot Interference Prevention Act, which restricts who can pick up and deliver absentee ballots, and another law that says absentee ballots that are mailed must arrive at county election offices by 8 p.m. election day. The suit said both laws make it more difficult for certain people to vote or have their votes counted, and therefore are an unconstitutional violation of the right to vote. Late Friday, State District Judge Don Harris of Billings agreed. He issued an order that bars the state from enforcing either law. And he said any absentee ballot that is postmarked by Election Day on June 2nd and arrives at the county election office by June 8th must be counted. He said the 2 laws will significantly suppress voter turnout by unduly burdening voters who are Native American, elderly, disabled, poor, college students, first-time voters, or parents working low-wage jobs. And Harris rejected the state's argument that the Ballot Interference Prevention Act combats voter fraud, saying there has never been a documented case of absentee ballot collection fraud in Montana. State Democratic Party Chair Robin Driscoll hailed the ruling, saying there's no good reason why a ballot should be thrown out because it arrives too late in the mail. Harris's ruling on the Ballot Interference Prevention Act also comes 2 days after a different judge blocked the same law in a separate lawsuit by Montana Indian tribes. But the issue isn't over. Montana Attorney General Tim Fox's office has asked that Harris's ruling be put on hold while Fox appeals it to the Montana Supreme Court. Fox says the rules on voting should not be changed so soon before the election. Reporting from Helena, Mike Dennison, MTN News.
All right, thanks, Mike. Now, meanwhile, Montanans are voting in the state's first all-male statewide election. As of yesterday, more than 211,000 Montanans had already returned their ballots for the June 2nd primary. Well, ahead on tonight's 5:30 News, since the cancellation of the Tokyo Games, why one Belgrade Olympian has now decided to join the service. And in sports, Scott tells us about Billings passing up the opportunity to host the PBR's first event back with fans.
You're watching MTN News with Jeanelle Slade and Russ Riesinger, Storm Tracker weather with Bob McGuire, and sports with Scott Green. This is the 5:30 News on Q2, Montana's news leader.